Hey, this is Jasmine from New Paradigm Beings. Please excuse me if I have any allergies or sneezing during the video because I definitely have allergies at the moment. Um, but this is part two to the 11-11-11 portal video that I began for Twin Flames Divine Counterparts and just all of us who are on the journey of integration. I wanted to continue from our last video where I spoke about what the intention was for union, what it means to be integrated and listening and surrendered versus being in the ego or being in a state of mind that is actually blocking our manifestations and making things harder for us because we feel that we have to prove something if we're able to fit a square inside of a circle, so to speak. So from that video, I would like to transition into the healing period. We had more of a diagnosis period in the last video. This is our construction period. I'm going to be talking about ways that we can lift up density or old patterns using chakra energy cards. This deck focuses on affirmations that have to do with the friends or the friendships that we have inside of our body, like the friendship with our mind, our emotions, our stomach, our feet, our liver, anything that has to relate to our being from the inside on out, outside, into our electromagnetic field, so to speak. So I'm going to be using this. I also have the Wildwood Tarot. For those of you who watched some of my first videos, that deck is making a return today. And I'm also going to be using a return of my old Mermaids and Dolphins deck that I have gifted away. Alright, so without further ado, excuse my sniveling. I'm going to ask Medicine Buddha, White Light Medical Team, any gods that assist with Kundalini healing, fire healing, Bhairavi Shakti. Okay. Those that help cleanse away, cleanse our aura, and set our intentions for clearing. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Thank you, Spirit Guides, for being there for us and making it possible to have role models, and so we can see examples of what it's like to live the way that we were intended to. And so it is. So, all right, let's see how this comes out. All right, I'm just gonna start shuffling. I'm gonna start pulling some cards. Okay. Okay. All right, we have the Knight of Bows. The Pole Star, 17 Pole Star. And the Wanderer. Excuse me. Watch your thoughts. All right. Look at this little guy here. He's helping cover me. This is called a guardian. My roommate, my old roommate, makes these. She has lots of them. They help make everyone feel safe. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's start to read. All right, so we have the 5th chakra. I happily show the world my God-willed existence. Wow. I happily show the world my God-willed existence. Wow, that has to do with the 5th chakra, the throat chakra. And happily just speaking out of our vessel. That's not speaking to have to prove anything to anyone. It's speaking from just out of balance and out of bliss, because that's the natural state of the vessel. When you speak your authenticity, you're already glorifying God. That's the natural state of rest. You glorify God when you just speak your truth. There's something that has to be proved with your truth, because in that natural state, it just proves itself. I'm going to go ahead and read further info on this card. Number 57. Okay, I happily show the world my God-willed existence. Express what you are. This is how you can experience yourself and encourage others to also experience themselves. Only through this process can you truly learn to understand and develop your being. The creative force has created you, unique and perfect in your own way. This means that you have been provided with everything that you need in order to master life in your own special way and be happy. Live and show this perfection, and you will discover how good this feels. When you dare do this, you will notice that due to this truthfulness and more, due to this truthfulness, more and more people who fit to you will become aware of you. When you were still denying yourself, your friends often could not recognize you behind the mask of self-denial, and often walked right past you as a result. Wow. When you were still denying yourself, your friends often could not recognize you behind the mask of self-denial, and often walked right past you as a result. Chalcedony and tiger's eye and jadeite are excellent healing stones for using this power of the throat chakra. Patchouli is a great essence. And as far as Bach flower, wild rose, and pine together will help this affirmation manifest. Okay. So, speaking your truth. Let's read another. Auric field of the etheric body. Number 7. Flowing freely, my etheric body is becoming stronger from one second to the next. Okay, let's read that. So again, about flowing, about being in tune with the rest that nature gives, the natural resting point that is the 0 point, which we will be talking about. The 0 point has to do with walking and passing the tests of our journey. Okay, that's the 0 point. Flowing freely, my etheric body is becoming stronger from one second to the next. Change and flow mean life and healing. Rigidity and inflexibility mean death and illness. We all know that the refusal to evolve means death and basically extinction. And the opposite of that is obviously life and prosperity. When it flows freely, everything finds its right place at the right time, the appropriate task, and therefore happiness in the eternal stream of the creative force. This affirmation has a special significance for the free flow of the life forces in your musculature and skin. The metabolism of these areas, the blood and lymph circulation, reacts to this. Whatever is in a state of flow is strong in a natural way, just like a tree in which the juices are flowing powerfully. If the flow in it is reduced, it will dry out and lose its strength. Being in the flow means interacting with others and relating to the surrounding world. Are you willing to open up on a physical level to interact? Then you will also experience an influx of strength. The contact with the earth can be helpful if you lay down on it. Take a mud bath or cover yourself a bit with some healthy garden soil. So again, being in the flow means interacting with others and relating to the surrounding world. Are you willing to open up on the physical level to interact? Then you will also experience an influx of strength. The contact with the earth can be helpful if you lay down on it. Take a mud bath or cover yourself a bit with some healthy garden soil. Healing stone, topaz, ametrine. Fragrance, cypress. Bach flower, centuary. Okay. Okay, so again, we want things to be able to flow the way that they are supposed to flow, because that's the key to health. That's the key to mental health, physical health, and just health in general. I'm sure many people are aware of what stagnant water means. It's true, stagnant water does mean poison water, but really stagnant just means still, right? Stagnant means still and not moving. And what happens when the water is not flowing, it's not purifying, it's gaining bacteria, and that bacteria is building and building to where the water, because it's not flowing and purifying, becomes toxic. Okay, so stagnation is synonymous, or stillness is synonymous with toxicity. Okay, you can talk to your doctors about that. All right, so let's take a look. Let's look at a perspective of this. This is the wanderer. Okay, he's 0. He's like the he's like the center point, or the void, so to speak, on this journey. He is the void. In his mind, you can see he's androgynous. He can do no wrong. He looks almost as if he's about to step off of the cliff. But at the same time, there's a rainbow bridge. It's as if he understands. I don't want to say that he doesn't understand the danger of this world. I could say that. But the truth is, there's not a necessity. When you're living with spirit, you're already protected. This soul here understands that if he puts his foot out, there will be another step to meet his foot. And it's actually that balance or that understanding that allows him to mature along his journey. It allows him to learn how to harvest, how to cook and eat, and how to hunt, and how to pass down these traditions to his future family. Being one with everything, and being able to allow marriage for herself or himself, an integration with the world, which is how an empire grows and expands, through negotiation and sharing and mating. This is how it all begins. And at any time, if you feel like you I have this card, watch your thoughts. If any time you feel or catch yourself out of balance, and that's, that either means like you have a lot of things running through your head, or things on the outside just seem like they're going crazy, like the kids are just running up and down the house, not listening. You can always go to this 0 point here. And 0 is kind of the feminine inward point. You can always stop. You can always take a breath in and find that 0 point on the inside. Because this number 17 is actually an example. Another example of the wanderer. Maybe the wanderer seems to have matured a little bit, but it's the same concept. You can see him continuing along his path, guided by the light of the sky, the night sky, the star, or the moon, the star. He walks in a dark forest, however, this night light is lighting his path as he continues to walk. His path is already pre-lit. Also, the trees are already moved according to his footsteps. Okay? So he's staying true to God. He's staying true to his guidance. Okay? So this is an example. This is a continued state of mind. This is the perpetual state of being, the natural state of being. This is what it means to be in Dharma, to be within your soul's blueprint. Staying loyal to your soul's blueprint. Okay? You're intelligent enough and co-creative enough to stand next to God and agree with your path and what's meant for you, what you know, how you understand the desires that are planted into you, that only you have the talent to fulfill and contribute that part of you to society. It's very irresponsible to fight against that, because we're in this grand design. We're all needed. We're all needed to add that diversity to evolution, and thus furthering the purpose of expansion in this universe. For twin flames, some people may remember when there was like this, when you meet your other and you spend time with your other, it seems like that there is there's an impenetrable time of happiness that was, it was just like that perfect 0 point. And you felt that perfect 0 point between you and them. And then maybe something happened, something got cut off, or you all fell into ego, and it felt like, oh my God, well, I knew what heaven was, this must be hell, right? To be honest, like, please never forget, like, this point is not determined by circumstances or outside circumstances. It's an inward circumstance. It's an inward state of existence. Bliss is an inward state of existence. And that's always going to bring two things together or back together. It's that perfect balance between earth and sky. That's our full embodiment. That's when we can say, like, we are a complete vessel. We are fulfilled. Our minds are completely fulfilled vessels. When we can feel the soul and do right by our soul on this earth. That's following that Dharma, following that spark and that pole star is always your answer. Okay? That's that magnetism. Okay, we've heard this so many times, a magnetism between two opposites or two counterparts and two twins. That is your light. That's what magnetizes you to yourself. Not to achieve something that's outside of yourself, right? But to achieve that world of true imagination or materialized imagination, where you make a song, you put your work out there, you invent things, you give freely, you share without expectation, and then you get back such an abundance from these actions, where you experience the perfect justice of what you put out there is what you're getting back. And what we want to give back, what we want back is obviously a very pure, blissful state of creation. Well, we have to put that out there, Okay, so let's talk about how do we cleanse? Let's talk more about cleansing, keeping ourselves pure, okay? Keeping ourselves not perfect, but being active within our being. Okay, one huge step of advice is watching your thoughts. It's important to only think about what you desire and not what you fear. We know and understand that feelings, okay, our thoughts become our feelings. Our feelings become our emotions determine how we react and how we do things. Everything becomes an action. Every thought eventually becomes an action. And we should make sure that if our actions are not pleasing to us, then we have to go back to the source. Any thought should come under. I remember there was this Bible verse that said, bring every thought under the power of Christ. Basically, it's saying, like, surrender every thought you have to God, or take every thought in in reflection, in calm reflection, and really consider your intentions. Bring your thoughts to a Christ conscious level and think, does this feel good? Does this bring more light to my life? Can this bring more light to someone else's life? Watching your thoughts is pretty easy. It's easy, sometimes easier said than done, because they feel like they can just run all over the place, but really, it's your house up there. If your thought's your child, just take your child by the hand and have that personal reflection with that thought. If these thoughts are not in alignment with what you truly want, or with what you're getting, change that thought. Alchemize. Okay. Have a new thought. Create a new pattern. Okay. Straighten. Your path will become more clear. You'll feel that divinity a lot more strongly. Okay. All right. So okay. Watching your thoughts. All right. And then we have the Knight of Bows. We have okay, so this is the Knight of Bows is a friendly creature. Excuse me, and he's also a creature of fire. One thing I get out of the first thing I get out of this card is that there's more than one way to purify. You can purify by cleansing and washing away and meditating passively. There's also purification by fire, which uses the intensity of heat and burning and exercising, and sometimes what we would call pain. So in this case, I would encourage people to you can try a fire cleansing ritual. You can probably look those up on YouTube or Google. Using rituals of fire, like if you want to write something down and then burn it, or if you want to write something down, maybe express it to someone else, or just anything that's definitely using candlelight and like burning something to ash to remove it completely. Incorporating yoga or kriya or active meditation, where you are doing intensive and repetitive work, like kundalini work, in your yoga, so that you can actually feel that like continuous breath and activity in your cells. You can feel that burn, and that burn eventually makes you more clear and more strong. Okay. All right, so I'm going to continue. So I want to give quite a bit of information to help us as much as possible. Okay. All right, so let's try to keep ourselves as emotionally clear and reputable as possible. Let's refrain from engaging in intensely, just very emotionally, mentally intense conversations that don't need to happen. It's just, at this time, it's definitely worth just staying in the cool zone at this time. Just being in a place and in a space where you are just both people and all parties are speaking freely, flowingly, and just not trying to prove a point over the other. No arguments. Just cool and collective talk, speech, tea time with each other. So that's the refrain. Right? All right. Okay. Okay. The cards at the bottom are going to represent kind of like your fairy or your angelic advice. These cards are going to represent earthly recognitions and representations of a particular issue or aspect. The chakra cards at the top are going to, of course, be focusing on an arena of the esoteric or the esoteric bodies. And what Spirit is actually asking us or encouraging us to show more love to as we heal ourselves in love and what is it called? I forgot the word. Process, as we process our shadows more and more. Okay, so where does Spirit want us to look? Okay, the 6th chakra. I have the 1st chakra. I have the 4th chakra. And I have the 6th chakra again. Okay. So let's take a look at I'm going to start with 69. The fulfillment of my daily obligations gives me ample opportunity for contemplation. The fulfillment of my daily obligations gives me ample opportunity for contemplation. All right, I'm going to give that one a read. 69. We can laboriously get through our work as a necessary evil in our lives, but then we have lost all the time that we spent working. Or we can understand that meeting our everyday obligations, even if this may be the simplest, most boring routine, can also be a time of meditation and opportunity for contemplation. Attending things like seminars and evening workshops is an invention of our modern age. It's good that this is possible, but how do people follow their spiritual path when they have less free time and financial means to do so? Quite simply, by integrating their exercises to promote good health and consciousness into their daily lives, everyday lives. Every waking second is an opportunity for learning, and these exercises can also be tried out immediately to see whether they are valid in everyday life. Okay, so right off the bat, like my way of relating to that is very personal. Work and play for me are like they're two very fused entities. It doesn't matter how intricate or how mundane it is. I find it to be very fulfilling because and that joy comes from understanding that each little bit, each little sand, each little particle builds something beautiful. And for me, like if I believe that perspective is what true joy is. True joy does not discriminate. So truthfully, like that's the truth of the soul. Like the soul understands that. The soul doesn't have like fun work and boring work or easy work and hard work. There is just expression, and there is just there's thrust. There's just divine thrust that comes out of the soul. So if you have any activity that you feel is wearing down your soul, you're not in alignment. And that might not mean that the job or what you're doing is out of alignment necessarily. It's you. It's your attitude about the job or the attitude about what you are doing. Like going back to thoughts, like go back to your thoughts, your understanding, and how you're performing. If you approach things with that pure, authentic attitude, everything about that performance, your performance and your environment will change. Even if that means like your career or if your work has to take a change as well. For some people that means a shift, like a very physical shift into something different that does line up with your worth. Okay? So just remember, like, one soul thrust, that is what is called work. Work is just the thrust of the soul, and the soul's always singing praises, right? Okay. All right. Foundations. All right. So think about the woman in the reading earlier was using her busyness or her career to actually block out the voices that were going on inside of her. And in this case, it was kind of a distrust of the masculine. It was kind of like, oh, I don't have faith in the masculine. He's not showing up, so I'm going to do it too. I'm just going to do this all myself. And being in that having that mistaken thought process, she was blocking out her messages the whole entire time. And in betraying her femininity, it caused the masculine to be in a very feminine, his inner yin became very disempowered in itself, because his inner female was now just backed up with all these thoughts. Because reaching out from the inside is a very feminine thing to do. And now, like, without the masculine being able to thrust and extend and fire himself forward from his emotional field, he became very backed up. Okay, so the Ace of Stones is talking about getting to the bare bones of, like, the root of our manifestations. What are we actually doing? Where's the point where we can catch ourselves in the act? I encourage the community to be more active in catching ourselves red-handed. Or even blue-handed. Like, even if we're doing, if we feel good, it's great to stop and recognize that, It's like, oh my God, I feel amazing. And just be in that feeling. Also, let's just be brave enough to catch ourselves in the act of self-sabotage and be like, oh my God, like there's blood on my hands right now. Let me go fix that. Let me wash that. Let me exercise. Let me remember who I am in this moment and let me listen. And when we do that, when we surrender and we become humble, we see that magic come right back. Okay, and we know this, it's an art, it's a science, it's a practice. This is what alchemy is. And we can do this, like, we can love each other and ourselves enough to say, okay, wait. And then rise above once again. Rise above our immediate feelings, our immediate negativity. Okay, and what do the angels have to say? What do the angels have to say about that? Have faith. Have faith in yourself. Your prayers are manifesting. Remain positive and follow your guidance. Okay, this is a reminder that there's always, yes, have faith in yourself. Definitely, you are an expression of God. You mirror each other. We're the microcosm, however. God is also way beyond this mind that we have inside of this vessel, okay? We are a breath of something much larger. Understand that, when you feel out of line, this is something that is temporary, because all that moment needs to do is surrender to infinity. Infinity and eternity hold all the moments, okay? So if there's ever a moment that you just don't feel, like you feel stuck, for example, have faith. Have faith that that's not going to last, because everything always comes back around. The sun always comes up. We always complete one revolution a year. Okay, we always complete one rotation a day. Have faith in that, because this is real. Just rest yourself and let the truth be told. Okay? No panicking. This is kind of a long reading, but thank you for sticking around. Fourth chakra. I am increasingly learning how to lovingly laugh at myself. This is one of my favorite ones, guys. Like, you need to be like the number one comedian in your life. I guarantee you need to be the number one comedian in your life, because here's how I find it. Humor is the glue between everything. Laughter is the glue between two things that seem so separate, that the minute you hold both of them and you just laugh at the silliness of seeing them, how separate they are, that laughter like puts them together. That's actually called irony. That's why there's comedy, and just comedy in general loves irony. Irony. I don't want to use any examples that are going to offend people. So maybe I'll have to skip the example. Well, actually, no, I'll go there. Let's say that you have quite a religious, maybe some people have very religious family members. Everyone's belief is quite different. Some people might be more hard into the books. Some people might be more spiritual. But let's say you go to church, and then someone you have a peaceful relationship with God, but someone is trying to force the fire down your throat or something like that. And maybe their action, maybe it's okay, maybe part of you doesn't want to stir the pot, so you just, you sit quietly next to your mom and just kind of go along with it. But let's say the guy on stage does something completely ridiculous or just completely out there, and you just kind of bust out laughing. You couldn't help yourself. That's kind of that's an example of that irony. It's just wow, I didn't know you had to do all that craziness to come to God. In fact, I know that. So you laugh. It's that irony that's there. It's huh. Um, so just be able to do that at yourself. Be able to laugh at your craziness too. Um, be able to laugh at how silly you were when you were like thinking all these negative things about yourself because you know better than that. Um, I am increasingly learning how to lovingly laugh at myself. The funnier, I've told people before, this is my real experience. If your journey gets funnier and funnier and funnier, like you're laughing more, you're doing it right. If you're going along this journey and you're not laughing more, like you're doing something wrong. Things should get more and more silly. Like controversy should get more and more silly and hilarious as you go along your path. Like that's just how it works. That's just how it works. This is one of my favorite cards, and it's the heart chakra. Okay. Um this, like the sixth chakra talks about being respectful of the mind space. This is the heart chakra. This is coming straight out of the heart. The laughter, because that's coming straight out of the heart. Okay. Um and that is transformation. Laughter has everything to do with transformation and alchemy and rebirth. It's like, because think about it, if you're still triggered and you're still like angry at something and you're still like getting into conflict, playing with the conflict and trying to win, then you haven't learned your lessons. But let's say, okay, you get to a point where something that would have triggered the shit out of you at one point just makes you like bust out laughing. If it's just funny at that point, you want like you've graduated, like you've given birth. You're new because you laughed that old skin off, and now you can move on. That's what rebirth has to do about. That's what rebirth is. You just laugh it off. It's too funny at that point. It has no power, so it's just comedy. We all know like laughter is healthy. Okay, what do our angels have to say? Okay. Yes, your intuition is correct. Take action accordingly. Okay, I'm going to read that. You're fairly certain about your next move, and you pulled this card as additional validation, which will spur you into action. This card confirms that your intuition is accurate and that you can trust it fully. The joy you feel, knowing that your intuitive feelings are valid, may be tempered by the fear of making life changes. Heaven wants you to know, however, that all of the details are being taken care of. You're supported in all ways as long as you ask for help and then accept it as it comes to you in various forms. Wow. Okay. So, try to keep a journal of your your confirmations. Um, every time that you have that moment where I call it a Dharma ding, and I'll probably talk about that later in another video. But every time you have those perfect moments of alignment where something just like a synchronicity just kind of pops you in the face, and then your life kind of mini changes after that. Write that down in a journal. Like write down the date, the actions, what happened, and kind of like take a record of your behavior, your behavioral pattern. You might find a trend like in perfect moments like that, that seem like very divine. And then look at and measure your usual behavior to moments like that. See what was different. You might find that like something is incredibly not coincidental, but like something is just very magical about times when things just go absolutely right. You'll probably find that there was something in you that you were able to to rest in, and allow a bigger power to come through you. But take note of that, and you'll see a behavioral, you'll see an energetic pattern that way. Okay, and now we have the first chakra. I feel my personal strength and lovingly express it. Okay. That's very straightforward. I'm going to pull the next one. The green man. This has to do with just putting all of your magic into the cauldron and doing it yourself. Feeling your personal strength and expressing that in a balanced state, out of love, expressing that love, has to do with a balanced masculine state. That's the masculine. The masculine is about thrusting, putting forth, create, like the active force of creation, manifestation. And the green man is representing all higher masculine forms of earth. Okay, someone who that masculinity that can go in the kitchen and cook and still feel validated, or he's able to express that masculinity in any ways that might even seem more feminine. This is like a guy that just wants to cross dress and get up on stage and sing a song just because he wants to, and he can. That's about feeling your personal strength and just expressing that because it doesn't matter. It's personal strength, it's balanced, and it's contributing to the laughter of the world. And it's contributing more power to other people. That's what happens when you're able to, you're giving yourself the right to feel that. You're also giving other people, or you're allowing other people the right to experience your beauty and your strength. Okay. Oh, okay, here we go again. Empowerment. All right. You're more powerful than you realize. It's safe for you to be powerful. Yes, I would like to emphasize that our masculine should not feel guilty for being powerful. Our masculine shouldn't feel like they have to go around covering their nuts all the time. We need our men to be powerful like our women. We need our men to feel at home with who they are and what they have to contribute to this universe and into this society. We're expecting to see a shift in the scales a little bit, where maybe for the past thousands of years, we were very universally speaking for our planet, we were pretty out of balance to one side of the scale, maybe to the masculine side. And as we begin to equalize again, it's going to be important for men to not feel like it's wrong, or it's shameful, or it's dirty, or it's they're threatening just because they feel powerful and they want to express that in general, in actually a good way, So I just I pray healing and balance and love for our masculines to come forth and feel safe. Feel safe for being a warrior. Feel safe for being powerful. And feel, not anticipating the woman to demasculate him, but to receive him and accept him for who and what he is. So I'm saying it is absolutely safe for the masculine to come forth and do that. Okay? All right. Sixth chakra. Back to the mind. All of the things I do and don't do contribute to the development of truth, love, and wisdom. Okay. So, I know, I have this weakness where, I tend to obsessively, I can obsess over my thoughts a lot. But you know what's funny? That's such an illusion because, no matter what we're doing, the universe, God is, so perfect. Everything just goes perfect anyway. It doesn't matter what you think is wrong. Even if you think, even if you made mistakes, even if you've done this, done that, everything was in perfect divine order. It's kind of a funny, sick joke that we play on ourselves to think that we can screw up a perfect divine plan, right? Just think about that for a second. So, going back to laughing at yourself, laughing at what you thought were mistakes. Okay, they were lessons. Feeling your strength again. Using your soul to dignify your work. Everything that you decide to do or don't do cannot screw up the light. Okay? It all contributes to it's all a part of truth, love, and wisdom. Everything balances itself out anyway. When you're in alignment with that, we already understand, well, when you're in alignment, it's like that alignment, breaks that spell that you can even screw this up. It breaks that spell over your head that you're an F up. Because no matter what, the plan is so permanent that all you can do is fulfill it. Okay, and I'll read a little bit more about that as we wind down. I don't want to sound too redundant. Okay, the three above qualities are the essence of every serious spiritual teaching and any kind of holistic healing. If you make the conscious decision to support these foundational abilities with your actions, you will carry the will of the creative force out into the world. According to the law of cause and effect, this will also come back to you and help you. By contemplating the meaning of these three spiritual qualities, which are truth, love, and wisdom, you can better comprehend the role they play in your life. The rational mind alone is rarely capable of perceiving them. Again, understanding the position of the rational mind, but not allowing one aspect of the mind, the rational part of the mind, to become the deciding God force, because the rational mind is usually the one who's going to come behind us with the belt or something like that. But truthfully, all of no matter what, think of a street or think of a complex highway. You can drive on the highway. You can also veer your car and end up in the neutral ground somewhere. You can end up in a ditch or end up in the grass. The road is still going to be there. The road is permanent. It's solid. You can get your car. You can just follow the road. The road is still going to be there. It's still meant for the car to keep going. And to be honest with you, all you did was take another route. It's all part of the road. All these roads have the same destination. And there should be peace, again, returning to that peace and knowing that is alignment. Okay. Also, if you want to distill or burn or what's it called? Diffuse oregano in your home, it's going to help calm your mind. It's an invigorator, and it's also it'll also calm the intensity that is around your mind. It kind of like burns. It's like a burner, but it burns intensity out of the head, which can cause mental illness. Okay. So 9 of Bows, respect. Okay, everyone, please respect this process. Respect the purification. Just respect what this is. Please respect that everything we feel is a messenger of something deeper. Every pain we feel is our body trying to send us a message for our higher good. If we fall down and scrape our knee, it's not because the world or yourself or the concrete is spiting you. You fell down, you scraped your knee, your body gave you a message that your protective organ is now exposed to potential invaders or things that, may cause reactions. That's all that message is telling you. It's a good thing. It's a great message. So anything that you feel, any emotion, any tinge, any intuition, any feedback from this universe, from this innerverse, from this body, it's all made out of love. It's all made out of wisdom and truth. Take that for what it is. Understand what it's to do. Understand the point of labor or labor pains or contractions. Understand what that is meant to do. There's a purpose, and listen to that and say thank you and obey that. Because exercise should feel good, honestly. Honestly, feel like you, when we respect integration, we'll understand that pain and pleasure are really the same thing on a different spectrum, and this, all of this differentiation depends on how we judge pain versus pleasure. For me, like for the longest, they've kind of felt the same. But emotionally, it can be more difficult to see it that way. I believe if we can start to see emotional pain and pleasure as one thing, there'd be like an incredible breakthrough in our path. And we can remember that. It's a step up, just to remember that. Because it's all a reflection of what we are telling ourselves on the inside anyway. And we can control that from the inside. Yeah. Okay, here's something that's going to make this a lot easier. A lot, I guess, put our path into more alignment. Okay. Simplify your life. Eliminate clutter from your home and work life to balance the flow of activities. Okay. Look how beautiful that is. All right. Simplify. Your energy has been fragmented, and it's time for an adjustment. By drawing this card, you're asked to take drastic measures to simplify your life. This means clearing your home of unnecessary items, canceling subscriptions to extraneous publications, saying no to demands on your time, getting organized, and being more efficient with respect to your schedule. You may feel that that such a project is overwhelming. However, if you take one day a week to whittle down the clutter, you'll feel an enormous lifting of weight from your soul. This results in an energy and esteem boost that will enable you to complete the tasks at hand. Your soul and body will thank you for your simpler life. Okay? Back to the basics, keep it simple. I'm going to get a tattoo that represents that. When things seem to be so out of the mind, it's just so complicated, it's like, wait a minute, okay, let's cool down my mind, let's go back to the basic principles of structure, and then let me allow myself to act from that space. And that means getting our physical environments tidied up as well as they're intended to be. I will further along the energy of potential and light and openness, so that we can build our creativity from that. As within, so without. You know how hard it is to perform when there's just so much noise, or there's just so much clutter, around us. If we can breathe that out of our body and out of our space, the path starts to synchronize again, and you start to have those aha moments again. And you keep, you keep on riding the escalator up, right? All right, I think that was a very thorough reading. Today is almost like a holiday, so happy 11/11 holiday to everyone. Enjoy the anticipation, walking up to Thanksgiving and Christmas. Everyone have a wonderful time. Happy holidays. Happy journeying, and I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. I'll see you next time. My information for a reading will be in the description box below. So thank you so much for visiting New Paradigm Beings. Bye-bye.